Don't be sorry. Awesome. Now that we're recording, so we had our body partner opportunity event last week. So we kind of have some things we can catch up on. Some of us were on the Success Club trip in Mexico. So all the good vibes. And I was just going to do some kind of housekeeping type things of what's going on. And then we'll dive right in. And I want to hear your thoughts about the calls and questions and all the things. So we'll kind of let this call go as we can. And if conversations continue, we won't go past an hour. So for April, because it's a new month, I don't know how, sorry, my dog is squeaking a ball, a tennis ball. I didn't know it squeaked. There are a few things going on. The 21-day fix super block begins. I'm reading an email. And I know we were just kind of talking about how it's different moves in the 21-day fix, but it is going to repeat weeks 1 through 3. So if you have people that aren't a fan of it, let's just try to support them and let them know that there's other options they can try. They should increase their weight, push themselves a little bit more, and hopefully we can help them find something that satisfies them if they're frustrated with that. But I think it does help people get used to the flow of things if they're more of a beginner. In addition to that, super blocks, my understanding is when you get started with a total solution pack and you get added a body block. So if you guys have made a share cart lately, it says you've earned the T25 super block for this month. You actually get to add another one. So as you're maybe hyping up 21-day fix super block, they're going to get access to another super block. So at first I was like, what if people don't want T25? They get another one, they get a second one. So I think that helps with our marketing. So you don't have to feel like you're talking about it ahead of time. You can share your journey and then know they can still get it. And in the share cart, you do not see that, but I think they're going to get an email after.
Question. Yes. Is it another one as in the following month, or they can go back and also pick the previous month? Because I thought I read you don't get to pick. So like I assumed to be just like that month and the following month, but I could be wrong. I don't know if you saw something different when you were looking into it.
It said choose. Becky sent me the actual words. Let me find it. I think it was Becky. Did I talk to Becky about this? Okay. I was like, wait a second. I talked to someone.
But it was in the WhatsApp group. So I think everybody has the screenshots
Okay.
I shared with you.
Let's find those words. Oh my gosh. 1 second. Harley. No. Okay. Finding the picture quick. You can choose which 2 body blocks you would like. You automatically unlock the next month and then you can pick your second. So my understanding is it would be any of the past. So maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I understood it. Anything that can be currently unlocked versus future ones.
Okay, they may have changed it because I swear I saw that, or someone said that you couldn't, and I may have misunderstood it.
They're changing a lot, but it kind of does make sense to get a second of the past because we're going to be marketing for something and we don't want to like be like, oh, just kidding, you have to buy this new one. So I think it will help us a lot. But good question. I guess we'll kind of figure it out with trial and error. And if you guys figure it out, let me know, or I'll let you know. Other than that, there are some summit recognition cuts happening. So basically that means if you're going to summit, they're going to recognize you for your rank, and they have names up on the walls and everywhere, and you can like point to your name and take a picture and all the good stuff. So if you want to hit your rank, if it's Star Diamond and above, you have a 6-week qualifying. So that is going to be this month. And I believe, I'm trying to read here. Dun, dun, dun. It's going to come up soon for the other ones because they have to print all this decorations and stuff. So if you're pushing for a rank, I'd go for it this month. We also have Harley. No, he's trying to take it from behind my back. We have the Success Club opt-in for 2024. So if you guys, you're currently earning Success Club points for 2023, all of that for 2023 is going towards your trip for 2024. So if you opt in for the 2024 trip, you're actually getting say you haven't earned Success Club points and we're in April, oh my gosh, you can still do it. Like if you help and hit, it's going to be more than Success Club 5 or 6. It's going to be closer to 10 a few months, because which is helping 5 people if you want your trip fully paid for. But it does not mean you can't opt in and get an invite. Opting in is just saying, hey, this person, I want to go, and based on my Success Club points I get, you will then get an invite in the order of when you qualify. I don't even know if qualify is the right word, but you will get an invite in your email, and then from there I think you have 48 hours to decide if you want to go. So it's super exciting. There's no risk to opting in. You're not saying I'm definitely going. You're just saying I'm going to try and push myself, and I would love to go. So definitely do that. You should have gotten an email about that. The last thing I wanted to talk about, which they talked about in when we went to the Success Club trip, Carl talked about it, and it's that the bonus leading up to Summit. So we have April, May, June, and then Summit's in June. So you have 3 months, and I'm going to just make sure I read this right from my phone. I posted it in the team page. There's a huge chance for bonuses. So it's called $500 spring into summer bonus. Start 10 people on a body essentials collection or comparable total solution pack, and they will reward you with a $500 bonus. That means from now till June 30th, if you sell 10 total solution packs, that is literally, if you get Success Club 5 each month, that's 2 months long, and they're giving you 3 to put that into that perspective. Did I just say that right? Yes. So you have to help 10 people. So that would be Success Club 20. So 10 people, if you help 5 people a month, that would give you Success Club 10 each of those months, and you would qualify. Maybe you're spreading it thinner. Maybe you're going to go for all 10 people, Success Club 20 in the first month. I would go for it because, oh my, this dog. I'm just going to let the dog go. So if you qualify, you're going to earn, it says $1,280. So that's $780 in commission, and then $500 bonus and it says you're the first of the first 2,000 people to earn this. So it's kind of giving you that timeline and that push. Like, you can't just get it. You want to be one of the first 2,000 people to help 10 people. And from there, you're going to earn $500 extra on top of that over $1,200 that you're getting. Go. I'm so sorry. I feel like I have like 5 dogs here. We have cows. I got babies. I'm like, I don't even know. This is my view right now. So really push for that. My goal is to push for it in this first month, and it is so possible. And I know it's not all about earning commission, but it's a really cool incentive to help people, which is our job in the first place. So those are the housekeeping things. Sorry, I kind of rambled on there. Do we have any questions? Okay. Well, let's dive in. So I'd love for everyone that was at the Success Club trip to kind of give a biggest takeaway, feels, whatever is coming to their heart, and share with the group. So maybe they're going to get excited for next year, or they're going to push themselves and push their goals so they can be there next year, or just kind of explain what you loved about it. And whoever wants to start can definitely do it.
I will start since Kyler looks a little fussy and Corinne's eating and has a baby in her hand. So, yeah, for me, well, I just want to start by saying I didn't think, like, when I opted in last year, I was just like, okay, sure, I'll like put my name in the thing, but I never expected to go. And so getting the earned trip was huge and like totally surprising for me. So that was the one like takeaway, is that this is totally possible. Like Abby said, even if you haven't really done anything up to this point, don't let that discourage you. Like, just do what you can when you can, and know it's possible. And I mean, the whole trip was amazing. And I feel like I shared a lot of it a million times and over. But I'll say the one different thing that I like was really a takeaway once I got home was watching the second round of people. And I was actually watching Holly Hillier's story. And so Holly Hillier, one of the like top partners in the company, all these things, really successful. She was at the same resort we stayed at. She didn't even stay at the Unico, the other resort. She stayed at Hard Rock where we were. She was at the same parties that we were. She had dinner one night at the same Thai restaurant that we went to. Like I recognized the cups in her picture. And so looking at these people and thinking, what they're doing is like, you know, so unobtainable and I could never do that. But in reality, we were doing the same things that week that she was doing. And that to me is like so empowering and inspiring that like we are all equal. It is just the time and the dedication and the amount of years spent. And yeah, truly, I don't know how she had that giant room though. But yeah, she had the room like right at the end of where everything was, which was like an amazing view. And then she brought her baby with her. So it was just really cool. And ultimately for me, one of the other things is like I was super burnt out before I went on this trip. I was burnt out from my job and health things and all of it, just life and toddler and whatever. And so this, like, yes, it was a working trip, but for me, it was really like a release and a reset. And exactly what I needed was to be with these ladies here and Steven and lots of alcohol, all of it. But I came back so refreshed and so fired up and put so much passion and intention into the work that I'm doing from a totally different level. And yeah, being able to connect with the super trainers. And I yelled at Carl at one of the, like, literally, I shouted at him, and Kareen was like, damn, Becky. Because he was speaking and he said to everybody, he was like, if you hear me say the word coach, like correct me, shout out partner, because I'm still working on it. So I was like intently listening for it. And the first time he said it, I just shouted. And out of a room of like hundreds of people, I was the only one that yelled at this man. He was like, give that girl $1. I was like, yes, sir. I would like $1. Thank you very much. But then people started like shouting at him afterwards. But it was just like a funny thing. So this trip, I drank a lot, realized I love this team just as much as I thought I did, and yelled at Carl, the CEO of our company, and also realized we are doing the same things as the top partners in the company, and to just keep doing it, keep showing up. It is so possible and inspiring and empowering and all of the things. So that is the synopsis of my feels from the trip.
I'll piggyback off Becky. This was my second earn trip that I actually got to go on. So my first trip was the cruise, which I'm not a big fan of cruises. It was totally different and internet. And I felt like this trip was way better just in so many levels, just because like we met so many people. Thankfully, Jesse's friend Scott literally is Mr. Beachbody, Mr. Body, literally was like, hey, do you know so-and-so? I was like, oh my God, is this How I Met Your Mother? Like, hey, do you know Ted? Like, I don't know if anyone gets that reference, but that was Scott. Like, we got to connect and network with so many new people and like have new connections, new friendships. What I told the girls when we left was that I did not feel weird at all. Like, I met Becky for the first time. I met Tiffany for the first time. Like, I felt like we were friends, like we'd known each other for years, and it was just like, oh, hey, not like, oh my God, like, but I don't know. That was the biggest thing for me was just like getting to meet them, and it makes me more excited for Summit. And I'm actually very sad that neither of them are going. So maybe you guys need to go. But it's just so much fun to be with your team, be silly, and like, yes, it's about like working out and eating, but like we literally just like drank, literally sat at the pool, talked about our business. And I thought like maybe we'd do like some work while we were there. Like, I don't know, like I did in the mornings, like when we were pumping, but it was very relaxing and it was something that I needed. And at literally the night before, I texted Jesse and I was like, I don't think I should be going. Like my house is a mess. The kids are a mess. I feel like I shouldn't go. And Connor's like, you deserve this and you need to go. So I'm glad I went because it was much needed. It's hard being a mom, a new mom, for all of you who are new moms, to lead your kids to go do something like this for yourself because it feels kind of selfish, but it also just fills your freaking cup so dang much. And I felt so amazing when I got home and I was like ready to hit the ground running when I got home with the business, even more so than I was before the trip. So definitely have the opportunity, opt into this because literally anyone could do this. I think my first trip, I opted in June for the trip, like for the next year, and I got to go. Like that's how I got on the cruise. I don't know how that worked. I didn't think I'd be able to have a chance. So just like Becky, like opt in and see what you can do. And this should be like a goal for you. This should be like, I want to be there. I want to be one of those teams that brings everybody. Because how fun would that be? Like, especially the live workouts. I don't know if I can speak for Becky and Tiffany, but the energy in there is awesome. And just to see all the different people in there, the guys, the girls, I don't know. And Autumn was definitely different. We got to meet her, Amala, I've already met at Summit, and then Elise, we got to talk to twice. Elise is the sweetest person ever. Autumn is very stiff is all I'm gonna say. I don't know. She was just like Barbie-like, just standing there taking pictures, didn't have a conversation with any of us. Amala was awesome. So he was great, but this is just a good opportunity for you guys to network within Body, meet new people, celebrate you and your business and how many lives that you are helping. So that's all I have to say, but you guys all need to go to Punta Cana next year. I already opted in this morning, so.
Also with the live workouts, I would dance in between all the different moves. And now with the body workouts with the music in the background, I am dancing in the morning with Steven and just pretending like I'm visualizing I am in Mexico dancing in my workout.
Tiffany, didn't you write that this morning in your stories? Okay. I thought so.
One of the days, yeah. Probably every day I've been doing that. But I'll go ahead and go. So yeah, the trip was awesome. Corinne talked about this, but just how like you met, or we came up, I met Jesse first, and I hadn't met anyone in person yet, but we were like at the airport, and it was just like, oh, hey, it was just like we'd known each other forever, and it just continued as I kept meeting everyone else. So that was really awesome. It just felt like family right away. So that was something I'm like, wow, love that. What I loved the most, I guess my biggest takeaway was when Carl was giving his little talk and stuff, there was a portion of it where he talked about how like over the last 30 days, he's been talking to a bunch of people and trying to figure out like why they are where they are. So he was like, some people are stepping on the gas and some are pulling back and some are leaving and whatever, all of these different things. And he was trying to get to the root of it all, of like what was different between all those groups of people. And he said it came down to 3 things. So purpose, and then goals, like short-term and long-term, and then determination. So like that fortitude to keep going when things get hard and bouncing back and being able to be in like high drama situations or whatever, where you may feel a little just like cringy about it all, but being okay with that and bouncing back. And then also he talked about like the belief and ability to do something powerful. So it all kind of circled together. But I just thought the way that he said it and how he tied it in was so powerful for me, especially because I felt like I had just kind of like not given up, but was kind of in this rut where I was like, okay, I don't know. Do I even want to work today? Like, do I even want to send those invites? Not really. But that's just how I was feeling. So when I heard him say that, I was like, he's talking to me right now. Oh my gosh, I need to reevaluate, reprioritize, and everything. So that totally lit my fire. And I feel like I've been on fire since being back. But it was awesome. There was one day like we were sitting at the pool and I just was like, Becky, let's talk about business strategy and all of this. How do you invite to coaching? How do you do this and this? And it was awesome because I was able to get some awesome ideas. And so I came back, I'm like, okay, I got these new goals, which was what Carl talked about, short-term, long-term, and we're just implementing them right now. So it was awesome. Lots of good stuff, lots of good takeaways, and lots of fun. That is all.
Well, just to add to,
Yeah.
well, probably just reiterate what they said, that, yeah, just meeting everyone. Well, I already met Abby and Kareem before, but like Becky and Tiffany, it's like you already know them. It didn't feel like it was like the first time meeting in person, which was just like the coolest feeling. And then just being able to like connect to like other partners. We made some new friends, and that hopefully, I don't know if they were going to Summit or not, but if they are, we'll see them there. Got to connect with some old friends, like Kareen said, like my friend Scott that Abby and I met on the trip last year, and then we saw again at Summit. He's like our personal photographer. It's awesome. Love him. And he's just like, again, as Kareen said, like he is like Mr. Body. He practically knows everyone, and if he doesn't know everyone, he befriends them and introduces you to them. So we got to meet one of the girls that was in the cast of what was it?
Insanity Max 30.
Insanity Max 30. Yeah. And yeah, just like so many other people. So just like the connections and friendships you can make on the trips alone is just fun, in my opinion. And then, like everyone else said, the live workouts and all of it. So definitely get yourself there if you can. And Becky and Tiff, come to Summit. I know you were thinking about it. Get your beauties there.
I went back to work and one of my coworkers was just talking about travel and she's like, have you ever been to San Antonio? It's beautiful. And I was like, all right, well, maybe this is a sign. Like she had no idea, no nothing, was just like the river and this and that, and like hyping it up. I was like, all right, I'll think about it. But
It's a sign. It's a sign for sure.
The only other thing I wanted to say, I was actually surprised at the amount of families that were on the trip. Now, we obviously didn't bring our children. I know Abby's going to bring Logan and Brady to Summit, which this is a family business, guys. Like our kids are in our, they like to work out. I don't know. Kieran will always say like, Daddy work out to Shaun T. Like they know the trainers, like they're growing up with us, watching us do these things. So it doesn't, like a lot of people, I feel like, well, I can't, like I know a lot of my coaches, because they all just had babies, are like, I can't come to Summit because of the kids. I'm like, bring them. I just told Carla, she's one of my new coaches, and I was like, you can bring your daughter. Like there's no reason why you can't. Lots of people are doing that, and especially at Summit. Like I watch these moms, they like have strollers. I mean, these parents brought their kids on this trip, which I didn't want to do that just because it's out of the country, first of all. And then, but again, like you don't have to feel held back because of certain circumstances. Bring them, show your husbands, show your significant others what this is all about. I mean, I don't know, Becky, like what Steven's take on all of it was, but I would love to bring Connor on like an all-exclusive trip that I won through Beachbody, just to show him like, this is what Beachbody is. And it's not, keep saying Beachbody, body. This is what it is. And like, this is what it's about. So I just saw somebody talking about, she's like a big coach around here. Her name's Nikki. She's in Louisville, and she talked about how her husband still works full-time and provides for them, but she also provides for them as well. And she loved that she could bring him on the trip and show him what this lifestyle, what this atmosphere is all about. So
Yeah, Stephen had an absolute blast. And honestly, I think talking to Scott at dinner like lit a different light bulb in his head than he had gotten from me before. So as Scott was like making all of our heads run in circles of his business strategy, Stephen was like, I understand that and I can do that. And so he took nuggets from it. And also, I think just because of what he saw from the company and that different perspective, I mean, he's always worked the business, which I love about him and our relationship, that like he's not just, I didn't just sign him up to be like a spot on my leg, but he actually does work it too. But he got back and he was like, I just sent a customer a cart for Orange Recover. And I was like, I'm so proud of you. So like it lit a fire in him too. He had an awesome time. He loved being with all of you guys. And yeah, he got fired up about the business too.
Awesome. I love it all. And I think in the end, it's like, you see that it's so much more than just us. You see like how big it is, how we're making a huge impact. And we kind of forget when we're like sitting at our kitchen table doing our own work. It's like, feels like it's just us. And then it's like, oh, it's actually this team. And then this bigger team and this bigger team and this whole community. And I think that's the coolest thing. And I just love that everyone came back fired up. I definitely did too. Which I feel like, well, does anyone have any questions about all of the trip or anything, how it works? Or should, I feel like this is a great time to jump into the call that was just this past week on Slay Squad, because she talked about like quarter goals and we got through the first quarter of the year. And I love that she had so many like different sheets and questions and things that you could use. So I will start this by saying, like, if you listen and you feel overwhelmed, just take what you need from it or take parts of it and don't feel like you have to sit down and do everything for hours. It's not meant to be that way. It's supposed to get your mind thinking and just have reflection about your business. And I will say my key takeaway was kind of related to how I felt about the Success Club trip. It's like, this business is so much more than just money and income or like benefiting ourselves. Like, we are making an impact. And in this call, I swear, she's like, how does it impact your family and your health and your mindset and like everything possibly going on in your life? And that is part of our quarter one reflections and our goal setting. Like, it's not like, did you reach your quota? Did you reach your income goals? Like, normal companies that you work for, like, your goals are not related to like actually bettering your whole entire family and your well-being. So I thought that was pretty cool. Did you guys have any thoughts like about some of the different, I'm gonna call them, they were kind of like workbook type things that she shared? Did you have any favorites or any that really clicked with you? I know it was a lot to take in, so you might not have done them yet, but that's okay.
well, I watched the wrong call, so I can't give my 2 pieces.
We can chat about that one as well. Did anyone watch the one with all the reflection? Okay.
Yeah. So I did. And
Was
I
she
just
having
like,
issues with the recording on that one that we were supposed to watch for today? Because towards the end, it like kept it would like freeze up and it wouldn't let me go like past like what the last, I would get to 30 minutes and then like the last like 10 to 15 minutes, it just wouldn't play. I even tried like rewatching it all over again, thinking it was my Wi-Fi or something, and it wouldn't work.
I don't know. I don't remember having issues, but that doesn't.
Who knows?
mean-
Maybe it is my Wi-Fi. I'm like, is this just me? And I was like looking through the comments, nobody was saying anything. I was like, okay, so who knows?
You probably got the gist of it at least.
Okay.
There was a lot that she shared. So hopefully there was some takeaways that you guys felt or heard or something clicked with you.
yeah. So sorry, Bellamy came in to say goodnight. But there was a lot, and like you said, there's so many spreadsheets, and I do want to take the time to look over them more in detail. I listened to it while I was driving and then looked at them separately and those things, but I just pulled it back up, and the one that I really liked was like honestly going big with the like creating 300 goals or whatever crazy number it was, and then she gave the tools to split it up into those different categories. So I have the life categories up on my page right now. And so it's like the category of mind, the category of body, soul, love, family and friends, home, work, business, school, money, giving, fun. And she said, like, the easiest way to do it was creating, I think she said, I don't know, 30 for each category or 10 or whatever it was, but clumps for each one. Or you could ebb and flow if you had more goals for one section or another. But I think that was a really good way to get all of that out and really see and conceptualize what the goals are, because when you're thinking of that many, it gets past the surface level. Oh, I want to hit this rank, or oh, I want to make this amount of money, or I want this for my family. But you really have to dig deeper into the more sort of subconscious thoughts of like, why, what are you looking for in these things, and what are you craving more of? And also with that, I don't know if you guys had listened to the mindset program in Body yet, in the platform with Petra, but she has this PERMA strategy, and then she puts things in quadrants of like rating where you are in your happiness, in your health, in your life, in your relationships, in money. And in this call, in the Slay Squad call, and in these, I feel like she kind of took that same mentality. It's a very similar like quadrant system of rating where you are during this quarter. And it's not as a judgment thing, it's just as a let's take note and really be truthful with ourselves of where are places that we're good, where we're like fueling, and where are places that we could put a little bit more time and effort into in our lives. So I really liked all of the prompts that she gave to dive in and answer the questions of, if you had this much money, what would that look like for you? If work wasn't a thing, what would you do with that? But yeah, so there's a lot of good prompts, a lot of stuff I want to dive into, but I'm definitely gonna take some time when I have a moment to get a pen and paper and do that, because I think it's just really important to get centered and for all of us on our goals and what we want to move forwards with. There's so much right now, so being solid in like what you want and where to navigate, I think is important.
You said that so nicely. I love it. It's funny, I screenshotted those 20 questions, a few that you wrote, and I don't have them all in the screenshot, but it was like, I wish I had a better relationship with, I went to vacation to blank. If I had financial freedom, I would allocate my income like this. If I was semi-retired, I would still be. And it's just some, like, even, yes, it's for reflection and for us to know what we truly want, but it's also cool things that we could talk about and share, like on our social media. Cause I always struggle like talking about coaching. I don't want to just be like, this is what I did today. Cause like, who gives a crap? I want to be like, this is why I'm doing this, or this is what I'm doing this for. And sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I also feel like if I could use some of these prompts to talk about it, like I am doing this because I want to vacation to blank with my family without worries, or my personal and work life would be more balanced because of this business. I am striving for that. Like, I feel like you can really get an emotional connection with them and then share them with people. That's kind of how I also took that for prompts, because I know we all struggle with what to talk about for coaching that really connects with people emotionally. And I keep saying coaching, but it's really being a partner and mentor. You can yell at me, Becky.
Will you give me $1?
Yes.
Carl didn't give me $1.
You should have said $100 from him.
I know. I was like, wow, well, that's cheap, but I'll take what I can get.
Does anyone else have any thoughts about that call?
The
I would
only
take-
other, oh,
Yeah, go
sorry.
ahead.
And then Tiffany had a thought, but for me, it was a contrast, like not actually the call related, but just an awareness of her. And yes, she was 39 weeks and like out of breath, but 39 weeks pregnant and like about to pop and out of breath. But she was very chill in her presentation of all of it, and said that like that is who she is as a partner, as a leader. And I really identified with that because like, Abby, you're very like, I don't mean this inoffensive, but it's just coming out that way, like very rah like hype man, like excite everybody. And I feel like I just don't have that necessarily in me. Maybe I do, but like it's just a different type of leadership style and how we work and like address people. So I also appreciated seeing this like very powerful call from somebody who wasn't like, all right, we're gonna hype you up with some music and we're gonna do this and we're gonna like everybody like put in the chat da, 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 da. And I know like it was recorded, but still it was just a very different tone that I also think is notable to from looking at someone from like a leadership role and perspective.
Tiffany.
Yeah, so the first half, like when she was going through all the worksheets, I was in the shower. So I wasn't like super there, but by the time I got out, I was onto some other things and got picked up on other stuff. But so what was she talking about? Like the wet back, was that what it was called? Okay, so wet back or something. And she was talking about how she lives in Florida and she hates when there's like sand on the floor or like any kind of dog debris or whatever. And so she was like, it does not take me that long. I can just use this wetback and for 20 to 45 minutes, depending on how much she does, it can be done. And like the floor is totally clean. And that was like, she got that desired result. So like her feet were like, oh, it's clean floor, it's perfect. And so she had lots of funny kind of analogies like that. And they made me laugh, but at the same time, I was like, I connect with this so hard right now. Because so often I'm like, little things around my house, I'm like, oh, well, maybe someone will get rid of that spot one day or something. And then it never happens. And so until I do it like months down the road, because I'm so sick of it. But the point that she was getting at was that do the things that make you feel good. So like, why do you do certain things? Because it makes you feel good. And so instead of like letting all that time pass where you're like building up in anger or resentment or frustration or whatever, just like hunker down and do the dang thing for 5 minutes or 20 minutes or however long it takes. And then you'll be so much happier afterwards. It's like, you don't have to have this huge buildup and putting it off and procrastinating and everything. So once again, like relating to me, that was me like, I don't like inviting. Who does, right? But I'm like, why would you procrastinate that when it makes you feel so good? Because like every time I'm inviting someone or other people or whatever, like I always feel so good. My energy's through the roof and I'm like, why don't I do this more often? And so I just like that a lot. That was a good visual, I don't know, analogy to where it's like, yes, just do it. You don't have to put it off. You just do what makes you feel good and quit making excuses.
And Tiffany and I have talked about this before, but it's like, do what makes you feel good. And sometimes that looks different every day. Like sometimes I'm like, I just really want to answer all my messages and get back to them. So I do that first. And then other times I'm like, oh, I'm really into inviting. Like, it's weird. Like, do what you're like being pulled towards, because sometimes by the end of the night, I'm like, I should not answer messages right now. Like, I will not sound nice if I'm like exhausted. But like first thing in the morning and I'm like sipping on my coffee, maybe I should invite and do my messages. Like people can feel your energy. And I think I don't want you guys to be like, it has to be so strict and like routine that you can really just go and flow with your vibes. Even if like every Friday you're like, oh, it's almost the weekend, I'm gonna invite all my people. And then maybe you don't invite every day, like whatever works for you. All right. I know there was also a call the week before about all the how we get paid, financials, and I listened to it a long time ago, as in like driving to the airport before our Mexico trip. But she broke it down. Like, I'm sorry, what was her name, Corinne? Who did the call?
It's Lindsay Matway.
Okay, I kept thinking Janelle, and I'm like, I know that's not right. So, towards the end, she like breaks down with like specific examples of like how much you can earn, and like it just makes it like, I know there's other companies out there that are like, our comp plan's the best, our comp plan's blah blah blah, but like people don't know the ins and outs of our comp plan, in addition to the fact of how we're like really making an impact and changing lives. We're not just selling product. So with that being said, I'll post a screenshot of that one. But if you want to understand like how you can maximize your income while making an impact in this business, like she's going to break down every single thing in our comp plan. And it's awesome. Did you have any key takeaways, Corinne, that like you think could benefit our group?
They talked about like, if you were to sign up, this was at the end of the call and I was driving, so I'm trying to see if I can rack my brain.
Is
here.
this where she like broke down, like if you could sign up this person, you'd make this much, and
Yeah.
then you get this bonus and this
She
bonus. It's
basically
like,
said, yeah, if you help like 3 people a month, that's $250. Now if like you can sign up 1 new coach, and I think she said 3 customers or 2 customers every single month. Like she broke it down like how much you'd be making, which is cool to know and kind of like push yourself in that retrospect. But obviously it's not all about money. But it's about the lives that you are helping, is what she kept reiterating, is that it's not a sale, but you're thinking about all of the lives that you're touching and all the lives that you may be helping. And sometimes I feel like we get caught up. I know I do myself, get caught up in like the Success Club points or paychecks. And I don't know what I did last week, but on Thursday, it's the biggest check I've ever made in my 8 years of Beachbody. So I'm super pumped about that. It's going right to bills, but that's fine. That's what it's for. But it's just like, I thought of the number and I was like, wow, that's a lot of people that I must have helped. So that's what we just have to go back to thinking about, is like each person that you're helping and serving them. And this is like going back to the trip, but Abby and I were on a flight to Mexico, and there was a family on that flight, and it was a son, a mother, and a dad. And the dad was getting, I don't know what happened. I'm not gonna like make any judgments, but when we were at our gate, the dad was kind of like getting aggressive with the son, and he was probably 4, and the son was just, being 4, being wild like a normal kid. On the flight, it got aggressive and really scary, and it was like making a scene, and we were all watching, and 3 people got involved. And those 3 people we met at baggage claim, they're all Beachbody coaches. And I said, obviously, because this business is about serving people and helping people. And these ladies did not hesitate to get up, and they removed the child from the situation and put him up front. And I when I'm late, I don't know what was going on, but like it was very scary, and I'm a mom, and I did not like what was happening with the dad and the son, and it was getting very scary. And the little boy just slept on this woman's shoulder the entire flight. And she's like, well, obviously, like, we're in that service of helping people. And I was like, of course you guys they're all freaking body coaches. And those are the 3 that got up and helped this little boy. So that's basically what Lindsay Matway is talking about, is kept going back and back and back and back and talking about though all that money that you're making is all the lives that you're helping. So, but she literally breaks down the compensation plan. And I'm wondering, she did this call because so many people are jumping ship because of our compensation plan, and our compensation plan has changed. So it's definitely worth, if you are questioning it and want to know like how you can make money, listen to the call, because she has slides. There is a slideshow too, so you can just probably pull that up and look through them. It kind of helped me a little bit just to figure it out, because math is hard for me, but she does a good job of representing that.
And she gives like little details of like, did you guys know you get a bonus if you sign up? I think it's 5 preferred customers or body partners within 5 weeks, you get a bonus. Like there's little like things that people don't even know about. And then Carl's doing all these other bonuses. We still have that Success Club bonus going on, where if one of your coaches or partners gets Success Club, and so do you, and you get $100 a month extra. And if you do that for 11 out of the 12 months of the year, you actually get $1,000 extra. So like, it's really incentivizing, like getting people signed up to do this business. And going back to Kareen's like story about our flight, these people that are top coaches make millions of dollars, and you would never know it. They would never treat anyone differently than, like, they didn't look at us like, oh, I'm better than you. And I think, yes, we make income, but it's a business. You're supposed to make income, but it's still going back to the fact that like we are helping people. They are the most genuine people I've known or met. And it's like, wow, you literally like would never know that most, I don't know. It's definitely a stereotype, but a lot of people with money are greedy. And I've never seen that from anyone in this business, which is awesome. All right. With that, this dog, is there any other like thoughts, comments, questions that you guys wanted to chat about? I feel like this was helpful, and maybe some of you are like, oh, I need to go back to these calls, but as always, like, don't feel overwhelmed by this. You take the pieces that you feel the vibe and energy from and run with them. See if it works for a few months. If it doesn't, switch it up. If it does, keep going with it. Like, you're not expected to do everything. So that was a lot of different topics, but I think it was helpful. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm going to pause and stop talking for a minute so you guys can wrap it up, and then we'll go from there.
So I just wanted to throw something out there. I had 2 ladies reach out to me like within the last week, and the one I kind of like halted her in a way. It was quite interesting because I think she was so used to getting like cold messages from people that like don't like go through, like look at people's profiles or like scroll to see like what their posts are like. And like a lot of her posts, like if they weren't about kids, they were like about designer purses, like Louis Vuitton, Kate Spade, all the stuff. So I had like put up a post like probably like 2 years ago now in regards to like what would be your favorite designer person or whatever. This woman commented on that post 6 times. So I was like, well, this is interesting. And like, she's the only one that's commented on it this many times. So she was watching like my stories and stuff. So I reached out to her and everything. And I told her, I'm like, well, the price of it's like $218 for the package and everything. She's like, well, that seems a lot, just for fitness. I said, well, there's a lot more than just fitness. I said, we have fitness, nutrition, recipes, accountability, all the stuff that we have. I said, and it's all in one. And I told her, I said, and I was like, oh, I said, I see you post on your feed about a lot about designer purses. I said, and I know for a fact Louis Vuitton can go close from anywhere from $1,000 to like $1,200. I said, so for somebody to say that a fitness package costing $218 is expensive. I said, but yet you have no trouble throwing money out to make yourself look good on the outside with a purse that costs you $1,000. And she halted, like she viewed it, but she didn't respond. And then I finally got a response today. And she's like, well, the more and more I thought about it, she goes, you're right. I'm thinking, yeah, the reason I know is because I love Coach. Like I like Coach purses, like I have for years, but I haven't purchased one since like my kids were born. Cause I'm like, there's other priorities. And she's like, well, she goes, I still think it's a lot for a fitness package. So I sent her the snippet of like what exactly is in it. And she goes, oh, wow. She goes, there's a lot involved. She goes, there's a lot there that you get in $218. I said, yeah. I said, and if you think about it, I said, that's the price you pay for a year. For 1 year, you pay that price. I said, where if you would go elsewhere, I was like, you'd be paying for a gym membership on top of paying, I said, for some meal delivery service. I said, on top of having to Google all this stuff for recipes. I said, if you don't want to go out and buy a cookbook, I said, then you have to go out and buy your separate containers. And I told her, I said, and then you have to think about, your commute, like for gas in your car to get to the gym and stuff. And I told her, I said, all of that adds up every month. I said, versus paying $280 for a year. I said, rather than paying like $150 a month or more. And she goes, I never thought about it that way. She goes, nobody ever broke it down that way before. And I said, well, listen, I'm glad that you put some thought into it. She goes, you know what? She's like, I'll let you know in a week. She goes, because I was about to go buy another Louis Vuitton bag next week. She goes, so I'll let you know what's going on. I was like, and I'm like, if I can get somebody out of buying a designer purse to spend $218 on a package to get her health journey started, I'm like, I can handle that. I said, especially if I haven't bought a designer purse in 7 years. Like, come on now. So I just thought I'd share that. I thought it was interesting.
I love that. Good job. I was gonna show you guys the sunset, but it's not as pink anymore. It's very here, but I think that I want to connect with you, and like you kind of called her out, and I think some people need that because some people will say like, oh, I don't have time, I don't have money, but like if you really break it down, they do have time and money. You just have to find their pain point. So I think that's a really good example. I know I'm super windy and probably hurts your ears if it's loud. Okay, it feels like it's really loud. But if you guys think of anything else or you want to share anything, let me know. Share it in our groups. Like I love hearing from you guys and you have awesome thoughts. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight and I hope you guys have a really good evening.
Good night.